Jewell and I are gonna go through and we're gonna assign some top name free agents to their teams. Last week we did a fantasy draft. We're kind of doing a reverse draft, I guess, if you will, by putting guys on different teams instead of our team. So we have guys, just to let you know what we're doing with this exercise here, is we have guys like Freddie Freeman, Kris Bryant, and Andrelton Simmons, Nick Castellanos, Nelson Cruz is on the list, and we also have, is it Seiya Suzuki?
Seiya Suzuki.
Okay, he's coming over from Japan. If you're not aware of him, I read something the other day. Somebody said he's going to be better than Ichiro, which is a tall order. But the fact that somebody was with it enough to say that, it's a big deal. So we're going to end it with him, but let's start with Freddie Freeman. Jewell, who do you have Freddie Freeman going to?
I got him going back to Atlanta.
Yeah? Why Atlanta?
He's going back to Atlanta. He's going to go back there on a 7-year deal. They're going to pay him. He is the emotional leader of that Braves team. He's been there for 12 years in the organization. He came up when he was 20. He's 31 now, so I mean, maybe a 5-year deal, realistically. A 5-year, 120 to 150. Because that's their guy. That is their guy. This Braves team would not have had any success without a guy who's been a 6-time top 10 MVP candidate.
5-time All-Star.
5-time
Gold
All-Star.
Glover, 3 Silver Sluggers. Yeah. He did actually get 1 MVP.
1 MVP, but he finished in the top 10 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is everything. He is the Braves.
Mm-hmm.
The Braves do not go to another World Series without Freddie Freeman. The Braves aren't competitive without Freddie Freeman. Even mid to late 30s Freddie Freeman, his power is going to age really well because his swing is going to age really well. He doesn't try to do too much. He has great athleticism for a first baseman, so his position with his power and everything just ages really well, and I don't think the Braves can let him go.
Yeah, and at 6'5", I agree with you. He's got to go back to the Braves. At 6'5", like, he's got the length that he doesn't need. He doesn't need to get a whole bunch of torque from his hips to hit the ball hard. All he has to do is get those arms extended, and it's going out. So, yeah, his swing is going to age really well. First base is the perfect spot for him because his body will age well with it, and with with the potential of a universal DH starting in 2022.
Guaranteed.
There's no reason for them to get rid of him at all because even if they have a young first baseman coming up, they're going to want his bat and his leadership in the clubhouse for, I'm going to say 6 years because he just turned 32.
Years.
Yeah, he just turned 32 in September.
Yeah, a 6-year, 150 to 180. Like, they're going to have to pay him upwards of $30 million if they want to keep him.
I was going to say 6 years, 180 was what was my target for him. I feel like that would be a reasonable deal for a guy of his age. Freeman. I know, but I think we're going to see guys coming out a little bit lower on the backside of this
back
CBA.
End, yeah. I mean, he's put together. He has single-handedly won 43 games for the Braves over his career.
He has, and up to this point, let me find his career earnings real quick. He's already earned $133 million. So another 30 a year for him, another 180 over 6 years for him. I don't feel like that's unreasonable. It is a pay cut. Oh, actually, no, that's a pay raise by $8 million a year.
Yeah, no, and he deserves it. If there's anyone that's deserving of $30 million at this point in his career, coming off a World Series, previous MVP, Freddie Freeman. Like, no one doesn't love Freddie Freeman.
Frederick. Yeah. He's my favorite Brave and yours. All right, so Freddie Freeman going back to the Braves. I'm going to start with Anthony Rizzo. Rizzo to me is a tough one. I'll be honest with you, because I don't think he'll go back to New York. I don't think he enjoyed his time as a Yankee enough to want to go back. I know every Yankee fan thinks that everybody loves being a Yankee because you're wearing those pinstripes. Anthony Rizzo is the exception, not the rule. Man, out of all these guys, he's the one I looked at and I was like, I honestly don't know. I could see him going back to Boston potentially. I think it depends on what Schwarber does. I feel like if Schwarber goes to Boston, I don't think Rizzo will, because there's a couple spots for him there with first base and the DH. But that's where I'm going to put Rizzo, is Boston. And if we're doing contracts, I'm going to give him probably a 5-year deal at 140, I would think.
Okay. I like Rizzo. Rizzo, he's like one of him and Frederick, two best personalities in the MLB.
Yes, I agree with you.
By far. Like, first basemen always have a good personality. Like Pujols,
We have to.
Cabrera.
I was watching an interview with Joey Votto on Dan Patrick a few weeks ago, and he's like, "Do you have to be social to be a first baseman?" He said, "Absolutely, you have to be social, because everybody's coming to you. You got to be able to talk to these guys when you get there. You're holding them on. You got to have a conversation with them. Can't be awkward."
And Rizzo, he's just cute when he smiles too. Like, not in a weird way, but like he's just very like aesthetically pleasing when he smiles.
He is. And speaking of personality, did you see? So I think the Cubs played one of the first games in the 2020 season, and first guy gets on base and he pulls out a bottle of hand sanitizer.
Yep,
I was like, classic Rizzo. That's a classic Rizzo move, and I loved every bit of it.
Yeah, no, Rizzo is great. I would love to see him back in Boston. I think Boston is a perfect fit. I think Boston needs Rizzo.
Yes.
Like, because they, Bobby Dalbec is not the answer at first base.
Mm-mm.
Rizzo would be a great fit in Boston. The only other team, if I had to put him somewhere that could really, really use a solid, steady, consistent first baseman that might pay for him, is Milwaukee.
Yeah.
They haven't had a consistent first baseman. They need someone, and I think Rizzo could fit with Milwaukee. And I agree, 5-year, 140, 150.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he won't sign until Freeman signs.
No, he won't. No, because I think he's going to try to piggyback his deal.
Yep, 100%.
I don't know he's necessarily going to try to one-up it, because I don't think teams will do that. But I think he's going to try to piggyback his deal and get similar to what he got.
Yep, and if Freeman doesn't re-sign with Atlanta, they go hard after Rizzo.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, next up we have Trevor Story. Shortstop, formerly with the Colorado Rockies, no longer employed by them, in the words of Garrett Cole.
Oh, man. Trevor Story. There's so many places where he could fit, because he does have the potential to be able to play the outfield. I don't think he ever will. I think he's more suited for his shortstop, second base, of anything. Mm-hmm. I think that he goes to, I hate it, but I think he goes to New York. He goes to the Yankees, because I think if anything, they need him.
They do need him, like, desperately. So him and our next guy, I think the Yankees would way overpay for, because they need the shortstop position. That being said, I don't have Trevor Story going to New York. I have Trevor Story going to Seattle. This is obviously a wish list item of mine. I would love to have Trevor Story in Seattle. Not as a shortstop, though, because J.P. Crawford is the guy. I think he would make the switch to third base, and he would make it very well. Part of that is I think he could age well at that position. Don't require as much range. You don't have to chase those balls into foul territory. Let J.P. Crawford take care of that. Just focus on scooping the ball at third base and hitting dingers. That's all I ask of you, Trevor Story. And let's give him all the money. Just give it all to him. I don't care what it is. Just give it all to him.
Do you think he gets a 10-year?
At 29?
Let's see. He's...
That's
I can
tough.
see him getting a 7.
I'd give him 8.
7.
I'd give him 8.
Yeah.
And then trade him after 7.
I can see a 7 with an option.
There you go. 7 plus 1.
I see 7 at 7,200.
Yeah.
No, for Story, yeah. Yeah.
200 is a pretty good deal for Trevor Story, though.
Yeah, and the Mariners have given it out before for worse.
They have. Yeah. It's true. I think, and honestly, I think his down numbers this year are the result of him being disgruntled for not being traded at the trade deadline.
Oh yeah.
That he was not a guy who was willing to play for the Rockies after they told him they were going to move him.
Oh yeah, and
So
that's
because
2 years.
he was the last, let's see what, last 4 years he's been top 15 in the MVP voting, top 10 once, and then this year he goes and he hits 251.
He does nothing.
With granted he hit
Productive for the
24 home runs,
Rockies.
but that ties him for his second lowest. I mean, aside from the COVID year, that was what he hit his second year in the league, and one of his second worst OPS at 801. So I really think he mailed it in after the trade deadline, which I'm fine with a guy like that because the Rockies showed him that there was not going to be any loyalty there. They told him they were going to move him. They did not. I'm fine with it. I don't feel like there's an attitude issue there because he's a guy who comes and plays hard and plays really, really, really well. So I want him.
No, I agree. And then that leads us to our next guy who also plays really, really well, really, really hard, and goes
110% all the time. Carlos Correa.
my time.
So I have to say this. I can't remember if I said it on the podcast or not.
Former number 1 overall pick, rookie of the year, just been sensational since day one, literally since day one.
Yes, and continues to be. So
and he gets better.
when he did the whole thing with the watch in the World Series when he hit that home run, I really thought he was going to undo the wrist guard, undo the arm guard, and just drop him at home plate and then go on his trot. Like once I thought that was going to happen, I desperately wanted it to happen. I was okay with the Correa time. I was okay with the watch tap. But so Correa, I feel like is going to New York. I feel like the Yankees are going to give him everything that he wants, and he's going to go to New York, and he's going to embrace the culture. He's going to love being cheered by the fans. He's going to love being booed by the fans because he is a guy who's self-aware enough, for the most part, I feel like, to be like, yeah, I deserve to be booed when I'm being booed.
Yeah, like he suffered through it in Houston.
He did, and he performed the entire time.
He's
the one guy who did, and I think that New York, the Yankees in particular, is an outstanding fit for him, and they're going to give him, they're going to give him what? They'll probably give him 13 years because he's only 27. I bet they'll give him 13 years, so $400 million.
Yeah, no, I can see it. Yeah, I think Correa, and he's so good. He is so good.
I hate how good he is. I wish he would go to the National League so we didn't have to deal with him at all.
Dude, same. Oh my god.
Go to the Mets.
They got Lindor.
They do.
He's not leaving. He's not going to go somewhere and not play shortstop.
Yeah, no, he's a shortstop through and through.
He's a platinum glove at shortstop. So.
Yeah.
I think the contract. You're right. I think it is a possibility of a 13-year deal. New York makes a lot of sense. I'm trying to think of somewhere else. This is gross, but if there's a team that's going to do it, and a team that's going to way overpay for a guy, it's the Dodgers.
I don't think they give him the long-term deal that he wants, though. I think if he was going to go somewhere and be on an expensive short-term deal, I think he would have stayed in Houston. But on the other hand, he's also demonstrated that he does not want to be in Houston anymore because he's turned down multiple offers from the Astros.
I could also see another. Do you want to know who could use another big ego?
Who's that?
The Phillies.
They have so many in that clubhouse already.
But they already have Harper. But very similar profile, very similar pedigree, very similar age when they got the big deal. Very similar makeup, stats. Those guys back to back in a lineup is
oh my gosh, that'd be so dangerous.
Potato. It's the same.
You put Correa on in the lineup before Harper, and he's actually hitting 2-run homers instead of solo shots.
Yeah, I could see it with the Phillies, and Dombrowski has said he wants to land a big shortstop.
Yeah, man, that'd be crazy. That locker room, though, man. So, how do you think he would play with Gene Segura? Do you think they? I'm sure they'd play well together. Segura.
No, because Segura would move to second.
I think he's been playing second because they had Didi Gregorius playing shortstop.
Yeah, they would have Bohm, Correa, Gene Segura, Reese Hoskins, Bryce Harper, JT Realmuto.
That's pretty solid. As long as Bohm's hitting and Hoskins is hitting the way that they can, it's a pretty solid lineup. I'd make that deal if I was the Phillies.
Yeah, I can see it. I can see the Phillies doing it. They did it for Bryce.
They did. Yeah.
Same kind of player. That leads us into
Kris
the
Bryant.
next guy, Kris Bryant. This is the guy that I got going to Seattle.
Yeah.
This is the Jerry Dipoto guy.
This
is the Jerry Dipoto guy.
You're right.
Kris Bryant is the guy that Jerry Dipoto has said. This is the kind. He has basically said we want Kris Bryant without saying we want Kris Bryant.
Yeah. I think you're right.
It's hard to deny. It's like, they didn't get Semien. So what? Probably because they were waiting for Bryant.
Well, the thing with Semien is that, he did have this. He had this outstanding year in Toronto at second base, and the Mariners are very familiar with him since he was in the AL West with the A's, but he's playing shortstop. So I think the whole league has been like, okay, Semien is a second baseman. He's not a shortstop, but can he still reproduce the year that he put together at second base for somebody else, or because he was in a contract?
He had a top 3 MVP. He was a MVP finalist at shortstop with Oakland.
Oh, was he? I didn't know about the.
In 2019, I must have missed the.
Yeah. I know he's good. I always called him Trevor Story light, but Trevor Story might be Marcus Semien light. So
yeah,
I don't know.
No, I think that's more accurate. So KB's turning 30. Coming off a year where he didn't hit for a ton of power, but he's never really been like a huge power guy since he won the MVP. And I don't know. I think his versatility, being able to play infield, outfield, all over the place. He can literally play every position except catch and pitch. That's what the Mariners need, and they can put him at third base. And then if there's an injury in the outfield, they can bring up someone from the minors and plug him in anywhere. So I think just the roster flexibility, Seattle on a, 8 years, because he's a Boris Corp, so he's going to get a gross amount of years.
I don't think Boris will let him sign for anything less than 10 years.
Yeah, and I think
I don't think he'll get him in the room.
I think it will get him in the room if 2 of those years are option years.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah.
And then, Kris Bryant's body looks like it's one that could turn, 6'5", 230, he could turn into a legit DH.
He could turn into a first baseman too with a glove like that.
Yep. Yeah.
He's played some first base.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like he's got to be one of the tallest third basemen in the history of baseball. 6'5"?
6'5", yeah, I'm reading it right now.
Man, that's nuts. He's obviously not going back to San Francisco. I don't think he's going back to Chicago. I feel like there was some, I don't want to say bad blood, but I think maybe he felt like he was kind of burned by the Cubs when they traded him.
Oh, yeah.
Even though I'm sure he obviously knew it was coming.
He cried.
He did. Yeah, and I'd be upset. I don't blame him. But anyway, I'd like to see him in Seattle. This is my thing: is if the Mariners don't get Story, I want him to get Kris Bryant.
I'd rather have Bryant over Story.
Would you?
Yeah.
Man, it's tough. How about he goes to my goodness, not the Dodgers because they have Turner.
Yeah, they do.
What if he goes to Colorado?
That organization's too dysfunctional for him.
That would be strictly a money deal, but that's not uncharacteristic of Boris' client.
No. They didn't want to pay Story. I don't think they would want to pay KB.
Yeah. It's true. They paid Nolan Arenado, and they traded him away. So yeah, you're right. No Colorado. He could be another option for the Yankees.
Yeah, no.
I feel like Boris has the Yankees on speed dial. Send. Mr. Cashman, how much are you willing to pay my client?
Yeah. Kris Bryant here. You're my first call.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. Kris Bryant for me was actually the hardest one out of the whole group because I don't know, because I'd like to have him in Seattle, but I don't know where he would go other than that.
Yeah, no,
So
I mean, I can't even see him in Toronto, really. Toronto's going to spend on someone.
they have to. They're going to have to bring somebody in to fill in the holes there. I saw the other day somebody said Anthony Rizzo to the Blue Jays. I was like, no, what are you going to do with Vladdy? You're not going to. I
No,
mean, I
you're
guess you
not
can
going
have
to
him
do
as a
that.
DH, but no. Anyway,
You're not going
all
to
right.
do
Next,
that.
we have Andrelton Simmons at shortstop. Now,
Cincinnati.
oh really? Their
No,
shortstop
no,
just
because
won
they got
Rookie of the Year.
India. They got India. Gross.
See, I have Simmons going to Toronto.
No, they have Bo Bichette.
Put him at second base.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Can put Bo
I don't
Bichette at
know.
second base.
True. Yeah, I can see Simmons fitting there. I mean, it's not anywhere close to Semien, but
No, but I mean, he's a more affordable version of Semien.
it's very true.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna
I feel
agree
like
with
he
you
could
there.
go
I
there and fit in.
I haven't been able to think of anywhere to put Andrelton Simmons, so
Okay, what about Nick Castellanos?
oh, he's. You
Do
know
you
what?
not
I
like
think there's
Castellanos?
two places. I do. I just I don't know. I think there's two places where he could do really well. Two places that he could do really well because the managers can handle him. And
Okay,
I think those two places are Detroit and the Chicago White Sox.
I don't know if he'd get along with LaRussa though.
Yeah, I think he would do well in Detroit. I think if anyone that's going to sign in Detroit off of this list, it's going to be Castellanos.
I
Because
agree
they
with you.
got
That's what I had.
Baez, they got
Yeah,
Miguel Cabrera, they got the young pitching. Like, the chance to win is there. Like, the only real competition in that division is the White Sox.
yeah, exactly, exactly right. Yeah, no, I had him going to Detroit too because he doesn't have to be the guy to carry the team, which he has the personality to do it. I'm sure he has the
Yeah.
confidence. Like it wouldn't be like if he had to carry a team, I don't think he would shy away from it because he did a lot for the Reds this year.
Mm-hmm.
But to get a team to the playoffs, he doesn't. You don't want him as your top guy, and you've got Baez and you've got Miggy. I think he is a strong number 3, possibly number 2, depending on the kind of year Baez has.
Yeah, that's true. I think another place I could really use him is Milwaukee. Because they need someone to take pressure off of Yelich.
They do.
Desperately. They desperately need a star to take pressure off of Yelich.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you
Man,
saw it. Once Braun hit his decline, Yelich could not carry the load.
yeah.
He's
It was
good.
crazy.
Yelich
The
is
Brewers had the best
talented.
outfield in baseball there for a couple of years, and then now it's like, geez, get him somebody.
Yeah, it's like literally
Yeah.
anyone on this list would be great.
Mm-hmm.
Yelich would be like, I don't care who you get someone, please. Get
Get me
Kyle Seager.
another bat.
Get Kyle Seager for all I care.
Yeah. I'm sure he'd hit really well in Milwaukee.
Oh, he would do so well in Milwaukee. That's one place I would love to see him go.
Yeah. That'd be a great spot for him. Wasn't on the list, but we'll do it. Okay. Nelson Cruz. Speaking of former Mariners.
Bring him
Yeah.
back, baby.
Bring him back to Seattle?
Bring him back. Bring
Okay.
him back to Seattle.
I think we've had this conversation. The outfield in Seattle is awfully crowded right now, and our guy Kyle Lewis is probably going to be the DH going forward. Do you want an aging Nelson Cruz hitting in Seattle over a young, fresh, and full of pop Kyle Lewis? Is that really what you want, Joel? Because I don't.
No, I don't. But like I do because like just the clubhouse presence of Nelson Cruz.
Everybody loves that guy. That's for sure.
I mean, it's just like it's what the Mariners need. Like between like this addition of Robbie Ray and you bring in Nelson Cruz, like your clubhouse is a lock. Like with leadership.
Yeah,
And
I do
mentorship.
think. I don't know, because I feel like Mitch Haniger and J.P. Crawford have done a lot to take on that role the last couple months of the season. So I think they're fine there. If I'm Nelson Cruz, I'm going back to Tampa. There is zero pressure to perform there, like none whatsoever. And he could hit the balls into the Stingray tank all day long, and everybody would love him.
Oh yeah, no,
Hit him up on the catwalk, hit him to the back wall, hit him in the fish tank, everywhere, and he could go up there and strike out 150 times during the year. Nobody would care.
They have no cares. Like it's like, oh, cool, Nelson Cruz, good job, dude.
Yeah, no big deal.
The
Go back to
smile look
Tampa.
pretty in your 40s.
Exactly right. That's the thing is he's in his 40s. He's gonna
I
hit
mean,
a wall at some point, unless he's juicing again.
Tampa Bay is great for guys in their 40s.
Exactly. Retirement community. The humidity
Yeah,
is excellent for your joints.
him and Brady can get along.
Yes, for sure. All right, Carlos Rodon, starting pitcher. Who needs starting pitching?
Everybody. Actually, no, not
Yeah.
really. Um, there's some teams that would probably pay up for him. Like the Red Sox are set. The Yankees could possibly swing for him if
Mm-hmm.
we're looking AL. And the Astros would absolutely love to have Rodon.
Oh my gosh, they'd be so scary if they added him to that rotation.
They need him. I mean, because they don't have Greinke anymore.
Yeah. Only have
They
two
just have.
young studs already to anchor that staff. If they had him
That's
coming
true.
in as the one or the two to help those young guys, they'd be scary.
Yeah,
I'd be so mad if that
yeah,
happened.
because they've had two pitchers back to back now, and second runner up for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would say Houston. Houston could make a play. Or the
I'd see him going to the
Cardinals.
Dodgers. The
Dodgers,
Dodgers are going to
okay.
need another starting pitcher. Trevor May has been good, but he's coming off of Tommy John, and you don't know where he's going to be
Yeah,
at. Like I like that guy, but man, he's like freaking Nuke Lelouch, man. You don't know where it's going. He doesn't know where
yeah.
it's going, and especially coming off Tommy John, you don't know what he's going to be. But you've got Walker Bueller, Carlos Rodon, and
He who shall not be named.
yeah, but I honestly can't think of his name off the top of my head right now. But
TB.
Trevor Bauer, you're right. Yeah,
TB.
like that pitching staff with those four guys, and you're not playing. You give him Clayton Kershaw's money. It's dangerous. That's really
You
scary.
have to give him Clayton Kershaw money, which is the next guy on the list.
Exactly.
Um, the Dodgers are going to bring back Clayton Kershaw. That's going to be
You,
a
you
short-term
think so?
deal, 2 or 3 years, not a ton of money, and I think they're just going to bring him back to say, hey, this is, and he's going to be like, this is home, like this is it, like I need to make a last run at it, and you guys give me my best shot. I will take the pay cut finally to play and compete for this organization. I think he
Mm-hmm.
comes home. I don't think he goes anywhere else because I don't think anywhere else really wants him
Yeah, and
except the
that,
Cardinals. The
the
Cardinals
Cardinals would
like their
love Clayton Kershaw.
yeah.
Absolutely
Cardinals
would,
or
because
Dodgers for me.
this is the thing is that Kershaw's only 33, but he feels like he's about 39 or 40
Yeah,
with the way he's been pitching lately. And he has reinvented himself. Like he's still pretty decent, but I don't know that I would want him in the postseason just because there are a lot of miles on that arm.
yeah,
Pitching deep into the postseason.
and you have basically an entire Gold Glove defense in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that would be the perfect spot for him. And having a guy like Yachty calling his pitches behind the plate,
For a year.
that'd be scary.
Oh,
So, what about this? What if the Cardinals bring him in on a 2-year, $50 million deal?
oh, Verlander deal, absolutely.
Yeah, I think that would be the money spot for him. And then I think he calls it a career in St. Louis.
Yeah, no, I can see it. I mean, he could legit win the title there.
He could. Yeah, I could see it. That team, if that team hits, man, they're so dangerous. They're so dangerous. All right, let's go to Eddie Rosario. So Eddie Rosario played the second half of the season with the Braves. He got traded away, and he ended up being the NLCS MVP. I guess traded away. The Braves traded for him. Anyway, depends on your perspective, I guess.
I mean, I think the Braves would love to have him back, but I think they have to figure out their outfield with, you know, with what they have now, because they'll have Ozuna coming back. Don't know about the DH.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly think he'll sign before they get to figure that out.
Well, and Acuna is going to be coming back at some point. And,
yeah, no, exactly. And they
and
don't need
that's
a
his
right
outfield.
fielder.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. If I'm the Braves, I'd bring him back though,
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Like that
because
was a
he's an
great.
affordable option, and he's going to do really well for you. He's going to contribute. He's going to help I mean, he was a big contributor. You could bring him back and not bring back Soler, and you'd be fine. I guess depends on what you do with Soler, because they could trade him away and get some pretty good assets. But I
Yeah.
don't know, or let him walk and keep Soler. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I think the Braves would be a great spot. I don't know. I think he kind of wore out his welcome in the AL between the Twins and the Red Sox, and I think he's just kind of
Wasn't
worn
he in
out his
Cleveland?
welcome. Oh yeah, Cleveland. Um, yeah, he was with Cleveland. He was with the Twins.
Yeah,
I think he's just kind of worn out his welcome in the AL.
maybe I
Um,
could see. I was gonna say maybe Oakland would bring him in, but I don't know if they'd want to pay for him.
no, they would trade for him from Miami.
Yeah, there you go. Maybe that's where he goes, is Miami, and then
I
partway
could
through
see
the season they
Miami.
trade for him on a 1 year deal. If he's maybe he signs a 1 year deal with Miami, and then the A's trade for him because he's an expiring contract.
I mean, they've done it. They did it with Starling Marte. So I mean,
Exactly. I know. What about that though? What about Miami?
I mean, I think they're just like they're so quiet. I mean, Kim Ng and Derek Jeter have done a really good job of putting together a low key, like really sneakily competitive team with Don Mattingly. Like, yeah, we knew the
Donnie
2020,
Baseball.
yeah, we knew the 2020 Cinderella Marlins weren't going to be a thing. But
No,
Sixto
of course
Sanchez will
not.
be healthy. Sandy Alcantara just got that nice 5 year
Jazz Chisholm
extension.
is one of the most exciting young players in the game right now. I like that guy a lot. He's
Exactly.
really good.
Just they have a very good, solid team. Not like, they still have, Jesus Garcia, Garrett Cooper, Brian De La Cruz, Jimmy Garcia. Um,
They could be contenders in 2024. I don't know that Rosario is their move right now. But maybe in like maybe in 2 years, that's a deal that they make. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, and I mean they
let those
did
guys
just get
develop a little
Jacob
bit.
Stallings and Joey Wendell.
Yeah,
I mean they needed
you're right.
Stallings to be able to lead that pitching staff, and that pitching staff is really good. So I don't
Yeah.
know. They have Abasil Garcia too. They got on a 4 year deal. Like
Hmm.
they're loading up. Like the AL East is wide open.
It is. It is. It's such a mess. And the Phillies should win that thing. Well, I shouldn't say the Phillies should win that thing, but they should come in second place behind the Braves for sure. But man,
It's wide open.
I
Like
don't
I
know what the
remember
Phillies are gonna
statting it
do.
out last year. I
Yeah.
statted it out last year, and all these teams have the potential to be plus 500 teams.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting, and that might be the move for him, is to go to Miami and help build up that team and be a. And if they sign him to a long-term deal, then he could be the guy who leads them through the playoffs, or leads them at least for a deep run. But
Yeah.
let's go on to our last guy here. We have Seiya Suzuki coming over from
Oof.
Japan. He has, I think, 20 days to sign a contract once the lockout ends, and there are several teams
Everybody.
that have been pursuing him. Like, I mean, he's Otani 2.0 basically coming over. Not the same position. He's an outfielder, but
Yeah.
he's that big of a deal. He's way bigger. He's a way bigger deal than Yusei Kikuchi was coming over and ended up with Seattle. Um, but
I mean, he plays third, short, and right.
so
He's
versatile,
just.
can hit. Where do you think he goes? Who do you think gets
I
him?
mean, so he's 27. He carries a ridiculous OBP of 402. I'm like looking at his stats and I'm like amazed. Um, he's like a Gold Glove MVP, like everything. I think,
Yeah, he's the man.
yeah, he's good, and we have seen a tendency for Japanese players to stay West Coast. They don't really like going out
Except for
east,
Matsui and
except for
Daisuke.
Daisuke, Matsui, Tanaka.
Mm-hmm.
A few of those guys. So we either see them go East Coast, West Coast, big market teams.
Mm-hmm.
LA, New York, Seattle has landed their fair share,
Uh-huh.
and they don't need him, but I think they'll do it if the price is right, and it could be because they still have money. Um, the Mariners could go after him,
They're going to. They're
and
making a run, and I hope they get him.
they whiffed on Shohei Otani. They were the runner-up for Shohei Otani.
And
And I bet Ohtani is
at
kicking
first it was
himself
looking
right
like,
now for
whoo,
not signing.
dodged a bullet on that one. But now it's like two turns of Tommy John later, and the dude's out here throwing bullets and hitting bombs. Like,
I bet even he's regretting it right now because he's like, I could be in Seattle.
it could be contending.
I could be contending in Seattle right now, but instead I'm stuck here in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Mariners
Suzuki
would have made the playoffs this year if they'd had Ohtani.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
They would have made it last year and this year.
Yeah.
But I think Suzuki, with his power, his age, his versatility, the fact that he can hit, play third, play short, outfield, I don't know. It's hard to see not a great fit with the Mariners.
So here's the thing. We talked about guys who Dipoto likes. Kris Bryant can play third base, first base, outfield. Dipoto likes to move guys around. He likes guys who are versatile, who can move around situationally and can play different positions every single day. I think that's why he goes to Seattle, is because he sees the opportunity to play more than just the outfield, more than just third base.
He's played 73 games at third base.
Yeah.
He's played 67 games at shortstop.
I think that he sees the opportunity to play more than just one position and to get in the lineup and hit every day, because Dipoto figures out a way to get guys at bats if they're hitting. If you're hitting, you're going to hit.
He always has. Yeah.
So, yes, because Dipoto and Service are putting together that lineup together, and if you're hitting, if you're hitting well, you're going to continue to hit. So, I think that he's going to see that opportunity.
And even if you're not, we need an upgrade at catcher, at DH. Luis Torrens is not a DH.
He's not. He's definitely not the solution.
I'm sorry. I mean, you could put. I mean, you said it. Kyle Lewis coming back.
Yeah.
We need a DH.
Yep.
We need a DH, and Kyle Lewis. We need someone to take outfield reps. I don't think we'll ever see the Holy Trinity.
I don't think we will either. But you know what? If the Holy Trinity consists of Julio Rodriguez, Seiya Suzuki, and a hitting Jared Kelenic, I'm here for that. Because Kelenic, he showed after he drove in the game-winning run down here in Arizona, something clicked.
He's like, Mom, I'm a big leaguer. It's probably having the grandparents there. It's probably like.
It had to have been. It had to have helped having the grandparents there. For those of you who don't know that story, I ran into Jared Kelenic's grandparents after the game. I saw them wearing his jerseys, and I said, "Hey, I hope you're going to show up tomorrow night too, wearing that same jersey." And they said, "Well, we better. We're his grandparents." What? It was awesome. Yeah. But anyways, but with that, baseball family, let us know what you think about our free agent assignments. It was a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be. Maybe I should have prepared a little bit more, but it was a lot of fun. Nonetheless, I think we had a good time doing it. Let us know what you think. Reach out on Twitter at baseball2gether, or drop something in the mailbag. There's a link down in the description of every episode, or go to baseballtogether.com. You can find the link there.